Hey everyone, welcome to Clickheads. I'm Eddie the Chump, and today we're going to be talking about the biggest debate amongst top players in Valorant. Which is better, the Vandal or the Phantom? They cost the same in the in-game economy and are both intended for full buy rounds, and unlike CS, are available on both attack and defense. So the question is, which one should you be using? Well, what rifle works best for you is determined by a few factors. Let's talk about the stats first, as it's here that we really see the differences. The Phantom is up to 15 meters, the same damage profile as the Vandal, 39 to the body, 156 to the head, and 33 to the legs. But after that, it starts to have damage drop off, with 15 to 30 meters having a body shot of 35, headshot of 140, and a leg value of 30. Beyond that, at 30 to 50, it goes down to 31 to the body, 124 to the head, and 26 to the legs. The Vandal, by comparison, from 0 to 50 meters has 39 to the body, 156 to the head, and 33 to the legs. That is a clear advantage to the Vandal, being able to one-shot at much further ranges. But the Phantom does have a faster fire rate at base, and its ADS fire rate, which is slowed down with the benefit of reduced spread, is still faster than the base speed of the Vandal. It should not therefore require much thought to extrapolate what scenarios either weapon would perform optimally in. The Vandal is better at tapping and bursting, where its range will shine and its rate of fire won't be a hindrance, and the Phantom is better at sprays, multi-kills, and rounds when you're not playing against full armor. But stats never tell you the full story, and there's one thing I haven't mentioned yet, and that's the magazine size. Valorant is different to CSGO. In that game, the AK had 30 rounds and the silenced variant of the M4 had 25. In fact, a lot of the stats were the reverse of what they are in Valorant. The AK fires faster than the silenced M4, a big reason why the M4A1 actually fell out of favour compared to its unsilenced 30-round brother, the M4A4, and it was always a case that a player would choose to save an AK over their M4 if you won a round on CT. The cross-map one-tap capability was just too good to pass up when the fire rate were so different. The AK was just an objectively better weapon in most respects, and the advantages of being silenced and therefore not having any traces through smokes and the like, and easier to control recoil, were not enough to stop players swapping out when they could on CT side. In Valorant, a lot of those stats are flipped, except for the one-shot headshot range, and it's quite common to see the top-level players favouring the Phantom, even on attack, which would never happen in CS. Partially because on T side you couldn't even buy an M4. So why is that? And what rifle is actually better for you as a player? Well, we're of the opinion that it's not 100% cut and dry. Yes, a lot of the pros prefer the Phantom, I do as well, but Liam hates it, choosing the Vandal over the Phantom 100% of the time, and we're both on our way to Immortal at very similar ranks of Diamond 1 and 2 respectively thus far. We're both amongst the most aggressive in our friendship group as well, with both of us usually going in first or second when taking a site, so it's not a question of role or playstyle differences. I'm going to go through both guns and talk about why, as players, we prefer one over the other, starting with me and the Phantom. Let's get one thing out of the way first. Between Liam and myself, I have the weaker aim, particularly when it comes to first shot accuracy. On attack, I do however find that I can quite often work a pick at the start of a round through positioning and stealth versus raw mechanical skill. For this, the Phantom is my clear choice. Your bullets are nowhere near as loud, and if you're spamming through a smoke or surface, it's much harder to tell where you're actually shooting from. This means that I am much less likely to die from counter spam. Of course I do at times, but for the most part, I am free to use my boomer brain to outposition an enemy if they're expecting likely firing angles or common attacking peaks. There's also the factor of the differences between a set play, where you know where a target is, versus entering against unknown enemy placement. A lot of my kills are not headshots, instead they are spray downs. The reason this happens is not because I don't aim for the head, I do, it's because a lot of the early duels in a round happen where both players don't exactly know where each other are. Because of that, who wins the duel comes down to who reacts the best and who has the better fundamentals such as crosshair placement. I find the Phantom to be massively advantageous in this context because 1, if you're close enough it's a one shot anyway against full armor, and 2, the fire rate and easier recoil means that you have a serious leg up against someone using a Vandal, providing that they don't one tap you instantly, obviously. But in these kinds of fights, where you both lack certain information about each other's location, a Phantom can be seen as favoured because it will kill to the body faster than a Vandal. This is how I get most of my kills on both sides of the map, surprising players with where I am and killing them faster than they can reply. Having easier to control recoil should not be underestimated either, because 1. Hardly any fights in Valorant, attack or defense, happen exactly as you expect. The higher up the ranks you go, players will be in non-obvious places, have better movement, with many crouching mid-gunfight to tighten their spread and make their hitbox smaller, and just be better at reacting to whatever it is you're trying to do. There's also the factor of view kick headshots. If you have full armor and you take a headshot from a weapon that won't kill you in one bullet, you will be on the receiving end of some vicious view kick, making responding in that duel very, very difficult. If you're the player peeking and taking the initiative, one tapping to the head can be much less of a deciding factor than it would be in other games. If I peek a player with a Phantom and it's a true 50-50, as in they don't know where I am and I don't know where they are, if I hit them in the head from beyond 15 meters, a lot of the time they won't even have a chance to shoot back because of that flinch, nullifying that one-shot headshot range advantage. You would think that the Vandal is more suited to being aggressive because if you hit your shots, it's all irrelevant anyway. But for me, compared to Liam, who is a better aimer, it's much easier to use the Phantom. I know the chances of me hitting a first time one-tap headshot might be lower, but I can manage that easier spray to secure the kill. On the defensive side of maps, not having traces is way better than I thought it would be. In most rounds, smokes and line of sight blocking is very common, especially as you go up the ranks. It's some of the easiest and most common utility usage. A Phantom is just objectively better in this scenario. Look at this clip on Bind where I pre-fire 2 likely spots the attackers could be trying to walk up behind my smoke ready for an execute. I get the first kill and don't even get shot at because the teammates of the player that I killed have no idea where the bullets came from. I then just change to where I think some other players might be and shoot, getting another kill. This example is extreme, but the principle is clear. If you're going to be spamming, using a Vandal is risky because of the traitors, but a Phantom much less so. In a game where info is king, the Phantom allows you to be sneakier, and that can help you win the day, as can its fire rate and larger magazine. There are tons of clips that I have of spray multi-kills that I simply wouldn't have been able to pull off with a Vandal because it only has 25 rounds. 5 bullets doesn't sound like a lot, but in the heat of the moment, it can really cost you if you are spraying at close range at multiple people. As a final note to this, it really does matter that you practice and become accustomed to weapons in games like Valorant. As I've nearly 100% of the time elected to use the Phantom, I'm now much more used to it and efficient in its use. Whether you prefer one or the other of these two weapons, getting better with your weapon of choice is the biggest tip I can give you. So now, let's talk about the Vandal and why Liam wouldn't even consider swapping. Whenever Liam picks up a Phantom from my dead body, or somebody else if he's opping, or say I saved and we can't buy the next round but still have one, he will inevitably hit someone in the head with his first shot and die. It happens a lot. This is enough to put him off the weapon forever. To him, if given the choice, why would you not take the one-shot weapon? But here is what I think makes the difference. Liam is actually a really good aimer. He got to GM in Overwatch on DPS and Global Elite in CS relatively easily. His first shot accuracy is simply beyond mine. He's also better at firing discipline. He can more readily choose to tap, burst or spray based on the situation, whereas I am much more likely to burst and then spray regardless of distance. In raw aim duels, he's just faster, more accurate and more consistent than I am. To a player like that, the Vandal does make much more sense. Who needs a larger mag if I kill everyone in less bullets? Who needs a better fire rate when you're ripping everyone's faces off first shot or in a short burst? It's very hard to argue with that logic. A Vandal is also just better at set fights when you have info on where an enemy is. Pre-aim your crosshair, strafe out, stop, boom, you're done no. Next target please. If you are a mechanically stronger player, then the Vandal might be the weapon you'd suit more because that's the situation in which it's favoured. It's not like you can't spray with the Vandal either. Just because it's easy with the Phantom doesn't mean that if you practice you can't get more efficient with it. Of course you can. The Vandal essentially has a more explosive playstyle. Peek this, kill it almost instantly, and move on or die, which is why I don't like it. But these high risk, high reward, lower percentage players are where some players really excel, and you might be one of them. So if you are, don't feel like you should be using the Phantom just because a lot of other people are. I've thought quite hard trying to answer the question a lot of top players get spammed with in their Twitch chats. Hiko, Vandal or Phantom? AZK, why do you prefer the Phantom over the Vandal? Brax, why do you, etc, etc, you get the idea. Well, I think in the pro context, it comes down to the skill floor of aim at the very highest levels. Up there, everyone can aim. It's not even a question. Of course there are differences, but to be able to even compete, a certain level is required. What creates winning edges when the skill gap is so compressed is how players use their brain to outplay each other. People used to say CSGO, the actual game, didn't start until you hit global, because only then would the actual game sense differential start to separate players out. I think in Valorant, it's much the same. When everyone can aim, the Phantom's advantages count for more in the mental and positioning game that's really going on. That's my excuse anyway. This is why I meme Liam when I finish above him in matches. Mr. Good Aim Tiny Brain is how all of you should now refer to him. That'll make him really happy, I promise. As for you, dear viewer, evaluate yourself honestly. Are you the kind of player who gets most of your kills from behind or the side because you fashioned some positioning advantage with your tremendous intellect? Or are you a Vandal entry boy or girl, a mechanical god who doesn't need such ridiculous things like ammo? In that answer lies which weapon you should probably be using. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found the info useful. If you like the content on this channel, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you get notified when we upload. Until next time!